everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark. Today I want to talk about the 5 ways that I think you can increase your sales. These are all tangible things that you can do that make a huge difference, and they are so important to do, and a lot of these get overlooked, so I highly recommend doing these if you don't already do them, and you will see very consistent sales. This is like the key to success, I think. A lot of people always wonder, like, how can they make more sales, or sales get slow and what am I doing wrong? And a lot of the times it's because you're not following these 5 things. And so it's very important to do these things, and I know like it can become daunting to do these every day, or it can become tiresome and you get lazy and you get busy and all these different things happen. But if you don't do these things, you're not going to make consistent sales on Poshmark. Poshmark is a very specific platform in a sense of you need to be consistent, you need to be active, and you need to be doing these things, or otherwise you're not going to be, pushed out into the feeds of other people, and then therefore your items are not going to be seen. So I highly recommend doing these things if you don't already, but let's get right into the video to talk about what these 5 things are. Oh, and real quick, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. You don't want to miss any other future reselling content that I do. Reselling content every single week, so I'd love to have you stick around for more. The first thing to make consistent sales is to always counter or accept offers, and to never decline offers. It is so important to do this because if you decline the offer, you're automatically closing out that opportunity to make that sale. And so if you just counter or, accept the offer, a lot of the times you'll be able to make the sale quicker. And I've actually noticed if I counter, a lot of the times they will either accept my counter or they'll counter back, and we'll kind of go back and forth until we reach a happy medium. But if I decline, I automatically can't make that sale because I just closed off the opportunity. And I actually find that like declining is a little bit rude. And so like if I was a buyer in this case and I just had someone decline my offer, I don't think I'd want to buy from them again, because I feel like they're kind of like, I feel like it's just a little rude. I can't really explain it, but I know a lot of other resellers agree with me that when you get a declined offer, it's just very rude and it comes across the wrong way. Kind of just hurts a little bit. So I always just recommend accepting or countering if you really can't accept. And what I do is I will counter, and then I'll tell them, like, if I have to go back and forth with them a couple times, I'll tell them, hey, this is my lowest, hope you can accept, and if you have any questions, let me know. And a lot of times they are willing to accept or at least counter. So I think this is the most important thing you can do when it comes to sales, is just to make sure that you are not declining offers, no matter how tempting it is. A lot of times people want to block on lowball offers, but sometimes you actually get that buyer that will accept your offer even though they send you that lowball. So you never really know until you actually do this, and so just don't decline offers. It doesn't help anything. So the next one might be a little bit controversial, but I send offers immediately after I get a like item on an item. And a lot of people don't like this because people think that it's kind of like annoying to the buyer, or they think it's like you're trying to push it. But I actually noticed that a lot of my sales come from doing this. And a lot of the times I get people that are accepting those offers that I'm sending out that happen to be right away. And I've always seen like the rule of thumb that you want to send out an offer within, like, I think it's a couple hours of the person liking the item, or even a couple minutes, because that item is on their mind and they're thinking about it. So if you send an offer like a week later, they're not going to remember. They're going to be like, oh, maybe I found something better. And so if you send an offer immediately, it's going to be hard for them to resist. So I always just try and get my offers out right away if I can. Sometimes I have to catch up. I'm not like available on my phone 24/7, so I will catch up and send it like an hour or two later, or maybe several hours later. But I just highly recommend doing this because you'll make a lot of sales, and I find so many sales come through this way. So if you don't do it, right after you get the like, then definitely do it at least once a week, because you want to get those offers being sent out. Most of the sales on Poshmark actually come from people sending out offers. And so if you don't send out an offer, you can't make that sale from that case. You're just waiting for people to buy. And a lot of times people don't want to buy it outright. So definitely send out offers, and make sure you're doing that consistently, because your items will get stale. And once they get stale, they're not going to sell. So you need to be sending out offers, and hopefully somebody will accept them. The next one is so important to do, and it is to share your listings multiple times a day. Now this is your entire closet, and you want to share it like multiple times a day. If you have time, you want to be really active. So if you can be sharing like every hour or every couple of hours, But don't just like share once in the morning, share once in the evening, and that's it, because that's not going to help your items get seen by more people. And so I highly recommend sharing several times a day your whole closet. I do it, many times. I think I have like 7,000 shares a day, and so that's why I have a lot of self shares. But it's so important to do this because that's going to help your items be seen by more people, and there's a more likelihood that your item will actually sell. And so definitely be sharing multiple times a day. If you don't have time to sit there and share all day, get a VA. You'll save time. You'll realize how easy it is. And honestly, it's going to be worth the money within like the first week of you making sales, because their sales are going to be coming in a lot quicker. So if you haven't gotten a VA already, definitely do it, because you can schedule all the shares to happen, and you can say, what time you want them to happen at. You could say how many shares you want and like the speed that you want to share at. So I just kind of set mine in the morning. I set it to share all day, and I don't really have to think about it anymore. And that really helps. So if you're not already using a VA, definitely try it out. I have a little code if you want to try it for some money off your first month. But if you don't want to do that, then definitely be using the select all and share your items multiple times a day. It will really help you generate more sales. The next two kind of go hand in hand. You want to list new items every day, and you also want to relist your old items every day. So the first one, listing new items every day. This is listing fresh items into your closet every single day. I try to do 5 each day, but sometimes I run out of inventory, so I have to take that down to like 1. But it's very important to be listing multiple items a day, because you're increasing your odds of making a sale when you have more items, and more items are going into the fresh new feed, which will then draw more attention to you. So it is so important to do this, and a lot of people like say, oh, I do list every day, and they skip days, and then they wonder why they're not getting consistent sales. And this is exactly why. You need to be listing every single day, and whether you are not home, one day or not, that will affect you. So if you don't have time to list every single day, meaning take your photos, do your listings, and do your descriptions, then draft your listings ahead of time, and then all you have to do is hit list every day. You can spare 3 minutes to hit list every day on a couple items, even if you don't have time to take all the photos and stuff. And this will help you stay consistent and help you bring in consistent sales. And then going along with that is relisting your old items. So a lot of people don't really understand what relisting actually means, so let's talk about it. So relisting your old items means getting rid of those stale listings from your closet. A stale listing is something that has been sitting for longer than 60 days. And if it's sitting for longer than 60 days, it's not really being seen by many people, it's not really getting a lot of interest, it's kind of stale, and it's just not going to be seen by a lot of people. So if you relist that item, it will be put into the new feed, and it will have more fresh eyes. It's basically like a fresh listing at that point. And so it's so important to do this. And if you don't remember like what the 60-day mark is, because I don't think any of us really actually do, if you don't, use your VA. The VA will determine any items that have been listed longer than 60 days, and you can say, I wanted to relist 5, and it'll pick from your closet those 5 items that have been sitting longer than 60 days. And you could pick however many you want, and you can even do like a different amount of days if you want to do 90 days or, whatever amount, but you can kind of set that. So I don't have to calculate how many items and when I've listed them and how long they've been sitting for. The VA will do that for you. So that's also a huge positive of having a VA, is it does that for you. I want to make it clear that you cannot relist your items before that 60-day mark for them to show up in the new feed. So a lot of people don't really understand this, and it's so important to understand it, because if you do it wrong, say you relist your item before that 60-day mark and you copy listing, you do it manually because you don't have a VA. If you do this, it's not going to show up in the new items feed, and therefore it's going to be kind of a waste of a relist because it's not going to actually have that same effect. So it's so important to do it correctly, and to also make sure that you're doing it after that 60-day mark. And so if you do this and you're relisting items that have been sitting for longer than 60 days every single day, and you list new items every day, that's going to help you keep your closet, bring in more attention, and then therefore help you make more sales in the end. So all in all, these are really important tips to help you be more consistent on Poshmark with, bringing in more sales. It's so difficult to be consistent. I know we are all busy. We all have lives. A lot of us have, other businesses that we're running, whether we're on other platforms or maybe this is not our full-time thing. So it's really hard to generate that time to be able to do all these things, but I promise you, these are the things that are going to keep you having consistent sales. And a lot of people don't do these things and then wonder why their sales aren't consistent. And I see people all the time in Facebook groups that I'm in, on Instagram, everywhere. I see people complaining about how they don't have consistent sales or sales are slow. And yeah, some of that is out of your control, but a lot of it is in your control. And so if you're doing these 5 things, you will have more consistent sales and you'll see that you're making more sales. And then once you make more sales, the algorithm will be working in your favor. So then you will actually have more sales because of that. So it's just a win-win to do this. And so if you don't already do these things, definitely do them. And be honest with yourself, because a lot of us can find ourselves saying that we do these things, but then we really don't. And I know I've been guilty of this along the way, and I always wonder like, oh, well, that was a slow month. Why was that month slow? And then I remember, well, I wasn't listing consistently, or I wasn't, doing this. So if you don't do these things already, then it's going to really hurt you. So I can't stress enough how important it is to do these 5 things and to be consistent with these 5 things. Consistency is so important, especially on Poshmark when they rely on that so heavily. So if you like this video, definitely give it a like and make sure you're subscribed. Like I said, you don't want to miss any other future reselling content that I do. But if you want to see a video on things that you shouldn't do on Poshmark, you can click right here. And if you want to see reselling hacks, you can click right here. But until next time, I'll see you then.